Hello, everybody. Reggie Regulus here again with the Caregivers Secrets podcast, coming to you live today on Facebook. Also, going to download this and have it as a podcast as well, also on YouTube and one of my other Facebook groups. So happy to be with you today. Today is an interesting broadcast. The topic that we're talking about today is actually Caregivers Search for Meaning. This is actually inspired by Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, because it was through some of the concepts and things described in this book, and I am actually reading it now, but I had heard about it before and some of the concepts in it. It is from those concepts that I was able or have been helpful in helping me to move forward and propelling me forward and helping me to thrive while caregiving. And so I thought I would share some of those things with you. And listen, I am a person of scripture, so I always check and make sure some of the things that I'm reading align with scripture. That's just who I am. That's how I am. So these things that I will be talking about do align with scripture. But it's a wonderful, wonderful book. If you have not heard of this book, I'm sorry, my piece came out. If you have not heard of this book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, pick that book up. It is a fascinating book, and he talks about it is about his experience in Nazi Germany in the concentration camps, and he just describes that not for the purpose of showing suffering, but really showing how to transcend suffering, and that is actually what, as a caregiver, we have to look at that because caregiving, I can tie that to suffering. Caregivers suffer. They do. I mean, as much as we love the person that we're caring for, there's a lot of suffering that can go on. And if you don't learn how to deal with it properly, that suffering can take you down. And that is, again, why I keep sharing with you guys that it is important to recognize the importance of self-care. I harp on it all the time because it is so overlooked. And so many people say, yes, self-care is important, but yet they don't do it, right? They don't prioritize it. They don't plan it. So that is why this piece of it, when I'm talking about Viktor Frankl and his book, Man's Search for Meaning, this piece of it is an important part of it to help spur us into self-care. So let's just think of some of the concepts, and I'm going to be doing this one for a little while because this is so rich and so deep, what he describes in this book. But here's one of the main things that I think is important for us to grab as a concept from this book and apply it to our lives. It is that if you can find a meaning in what you're doing that is higher than yourself, so in your caregiving, find a meaning and or meanings that are higher than yourself, that serve a greater purpose, and you can see that, then that will help you to pull you through all of the things that you're going to have to deal with. Now, you will constantly have to upgrade these meanings because as things change, as things shift, you're going to have to upgrade that meaning, look at it again to get new strength from it. And this will be a very short broadcast today, by the way, guys, because I am taking care of my mom by myself again today. So I have to watch out for her. But that the ability to continually shift and find new meaning in the new challenges that you're facing, to the extent that you can do that is the extent that you will have joy and turn suffering into joy. Man, if you can turn suffering into joy, then it becomes easier to deal with, right? And then it doesn't become such a hard chore. Now, I know some folks that I love my loved one. It's not a chore, it's a pleasure for me to do it. Great. I agree with you. It is a pleasure to do it. Yet there are challenges that come with this, especially if you're doing it by yourself, right? So I want to give all of those of you that are doing it by yourself and people who are making you for struggling with it, for having some negative emotions concerning it, don't pay them any mind. It may be because they have not gone through this, or maybe they went through it differently, or maybe they're just different people. I don't know. However, don't allow people to make you feel bad for really struggling with caregiving because it's hard. But when you can find that meaning that's higher than yourself for doing this, that is going to help pull you through. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you're caregiving and you had to give up something that you like doing, right? So you had to give this thing up. If you look carefully at, at not just what you gave up, but look carefully at what is happening when you switch, give that thing up to do this caregiving. If you look carefully, you will see that there is a door there. There's a seed of something else there. And if you plant that seed, the way you plant it is by finding meaning in that. If you plant that seed, it will grow to something powerful. I'm telling you because I know this. I know this. For me, an example is when I had to shift my real estate business, right? I had to shift some things in my real estate business in order to take care of my mom. Now, the meaning I could have drawn from that could have been negative. Oh God, I got to, scale back my business. But what I found as I searched for a greater purpose, here are some of the things it helped me do. It helped me to serve my clients at a deeper level. It helped me to look more for leverage so that now I'm actually helping more people by employing them, right? By bringing more people in instead of me trying to do everything myself. So I'm giving more opportunity. So that is an example of a greater purpose. It doesn't have to be something highfalutin. I'm simply now giving other folks opportunity by finding that meaning and not getting so negative about the business changing, right? So that is an example. And if you can learn how to find meaning in your suffering, you take that suffering and turn that thing around, and that suffering, the other side of that suffering becomes joy, right? There's a scripture that says, if you're biblical, it may be in other religious texts as well, but in the Bible it says, "Weeping may endure for the night, joy comes in the morning." You know what helps that joy come in the morning? When you find the meaning. When you find the meaning of the suffering that you're going through, find a greater meaning. I'm not talking about asking, why in the world am I suffering? But no, how can I use this suffering? What is the meaning of it? How can I use it to be greater, to do more, to serve even at a greater level? How can I use it to learn something? Maybe it is about me peeling an attitude off that I had, right? That's finding meaning in it. Maybe you had a selfish attitude and you just didn't even recognize it. Or maybe you weren't as loving as you could be. And by dealing with this, you find that place of love. You find yourself able to love more. You find yourself able to give more. You find yourself expanding yourself. Wow. So listen, when you can do things like that, that's amazing. And it's energizing and empowering. And it's something that you, my friend, can do when you find meaning in the suffering that you may be dealing with in caregiving. Hey, I hope this was helpful for you today. This is a very short piece. We will be talking more about this. Uh, I do encourage you to get that book by Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, and just give it a read. It has some very, very interesting points. You may not agree with everything. That's okay. Take the things out that you agree with, the things that you don't agree with, take them and put them on the shelf. Maybe you will agree with them later as your life progresses. All right, this is Reggie Reglis, and I am the host of Caregiving Secrets. I hope this has been helpful to you. I do have my comments on, so in the future, I'll be able to watch you guys as you comment, and I want you to have an exciting, exciting day. And no matter what the suffering is that you're going through, even if you're not a caregiver, no matter what the suffering is that you're going through, find meaning in it. Find a higher purpose in it and turn that suffering around. Have a great day.